Hey guys, we have a new moon in Taurus to talk about today. The sun and the moon are coming into exact alignment at 11 degrees of Taurus, giving us our new moon in Taurus and also our second new moon of this astrological new year. Now, this new moon, Venus is in conjunction to Jupiter for this new moon, and it is likely to actually be quite a beautiful period of time over this next couple of weeks. Themes of growth, themes of reflection, very much interwoven into the energy that we have coming at us for our new moon, and I feel like this cycle is going to be working to bring us back to life in some pretty profound ways maybe, and also really working to restore our own sense of internal value and our own recognition of the potential that we hold within us as well. So there's a lot of energy to talk about in terms of the full moon today. Let's jump into the report, you guys, and see how this is all unfolding for us. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. My name is Aubrey, and this is my report for the new moon in Taurus that we have coming in on Saturday, April 30th, 2022, 10 degrees and 28 minutes exactly of the sign of Taurus. That's where the sun and the moon are going to be coming into direct alignment. And it's also occurring at 4:28 p.m. Eastern time. Now, I want to tell you guys, just to start this analysis, as an astrologer, I read the Sabian Symbols alongside of the aspects and the transits. And what the Sabian Symbols are is a group of symbols that describe each and every one of the 360 degrees of the zodiac. And whenever there's a planet at a specific point, making an aspect, discharging a degree, we can look to the symbol, read the symbol, and it just gives us an additional layer of clarity, an additional layer of information, a symbolic perspective to sort of apply as an overlay to the aspects and the transits, and it can just help us understand the bigger picture of what's going on in the overall context of this grand unfolding astrological story, astrological saga that is constantly and perpetually carrying us through time and space. So as an astrologer, I'm always reading the Sabian Symbols, so I want to let you guys know that up front. We're going to be talking about Sabian Symbols in regards to the aspects and the transits that are occurring in this new moon chart. And also, because I read the Sabian Symbols, I'm always rounding up a degree when I'm looking at degree placements in terms of the energetics. And that's because when we're looking at the symbols, we're reading the wave of energy that is coming in and that's beginning to manifest, that's starting to grow, that's beginning to come into and take form and really start, sending its frequencies out, instead of the energy that is dissipating and that is sort of like on its way out of expression. So I'm going to be rounding up a degree when I'm looking at the degree placements for this chart today, as I do in every chart that I read. But I just wanted to put that out there for any of you that are new to my channel, or just in case, you've been a little bit confused about what the Sabian Symbols are, or why I seem to be a little bit ahead in the degree placement when I'm talking about the charts. But anyways, that being said, considering that this new moon today is lining up at exactly 10 degrees, 28 minutes of Taurus, I'm going to be reading the Sabian symbol of 11 degrees of Taurus for the placement of the moon today. So there we go. That's that. Now let's get into the meat of the chart, what we have going on with the new moon specifically. First of all, actually, it's interesting. There's a lot of 11s that are being represented numerologically in the placement of the planets today. We have, as I said, in terms of the Sabian symbol placement, we have the sun and the moon both lining up at 11 degrees of Taurus. We have the earth, which is always in a polar opposition to the sun, therefore lining up at 11 degrees of Scorpio. And also, if you break down the date today for 30/22, we also get an 11. And so I am, I read energy, I interpret symbology along with the astrology always. And so for me, just on face value, seeing all of these 11s coming across in the chart today, which also breaks down into a 2. And we are in this 222 year. I mean, the sun, the earth, and the moon today, if we break down those placements at 11 degrees of their sign, that's 222. And we are in this 222 year. And for those of you who have been following my work, we've been sort of noticing that when we have these prominent sequences and series of 2s playing out in the numerology alongside the aspects, it usually tends to be sort of a critical astrological energetic moment in our transition of ages, actually into this age of Aquarius, which is where we're at now in our energetic blueprint, in our trajectory through time and space. So I feel like simply on that face value of how the numerology is presenting as well alongside the astrology today, that this yet again is going to be another critical cycle, new moon cycle, in the fundamental energetic shift that is going on collectively within us, that is helping us to transition ages, shift paradigms into this age of Aquarius. So I feel like this is going to be a very significant moon. And because again of these 11s that are presenting, I feel like there are themes of reflection that we're going to be dealing with as well. Now, this is not the only reason why I feel like reflection is going to be a theme this cycle, but it is one of them. Also, 11, this sort of, in this reflection, this also brings up themes of partnerships and pairs and couplings and stuff like that, which is also very much a part of what the aspects and the energy itself in terms of sign placement is indicating in this chart. So an emphasis just on face value based on the numerology before we have even gotten into the astrology yet. I'm definitely looking at a sense of reflection going on, and it could be in terms of relationship dynamics, partnerships, pairs, work situations, and just generally like an internal reflection, leading to some type of growth as well. And that is what we are going to get into now. So we are talking about, first of all, a new moon, which new moons, that's what they're about, is growth. During a new moon phase, this is the seed planting time. This is when we sort of seed our intentions that we want to grow and to come into fruition over the course of that cycle. That's what new moons are really about, is when we're really like seeding our wishes and our goals and the things that we want to grow over the course of the cycle. It's the seed planting phase. So new moons on their most like fundamental level are a time about seeding something for a process of growth. But we're also talking about a new moon in Taurus. Now, Taurus, this is a sign very much associated with growth. Taurus is a sign of value and resources and abundance and using resources, tapping resources, cultivating resources to produce something that can provide some type of stability or structure. It's about growing and building foundations that can help something flourish and that can bring some type of financial stability or some type of abundance or some type of pleasure or material comforts, these Venus themes. And it also can rule work relationships, work dynamics, partnerships, financial like agreements and stuff like that. And also it brings up these relationship themes as well, because of the emphasis on Venus being the ruler of Taurus, which is another thing that we're going to talk about in this report. But themes of growth also very much so in the Taurus new moon cycle. All new moons are about growth, as I said, but Taurus really is probably, this is a sign ruling growth. So right there, we already have two acknowledgments of this theme of growth. But then let's talk about the Sabian symbols for a minute of the placement of the new moon happening, as I said, at 11 degrees of Taurus. That Sabian symbol is a woman sprinkling long rows of flowers. So this is really a very Taurian degree in and of itself. And it's really describing the themes of the Taurus new moon generally. A woman, first of all, Taurus is ruled by Venus, the feminine archetype, being described as the woman sprinkling long rows of flowers, watering something, watering the seeds that we're planting and watching them grow come into fruition. So this Sabian symbol with the sun and the moon lining up at this degree for our Taurus new moon cycle is again emphasizing these themes of growth. And I feel like it's also having to do with the divine feminine archetype that is within all of us. We have just gone through a massive activation with Venus and Jupiter and Neptune together in the sign of Pisces, and we still have Venus and Jupiter actually in a conjunction for this new moon today, which is a very significant feature that I will talk about in a little bit. But there is this theme as well of this like open-hearted nature, this recalibration of our heart-based frequency that is playing a role in the growth that is being indicated throughout this chart. It's also really helping us, as I said in the beginning, it's restoring our sense of inner value and helping us to recognize the resources and the potential and the fertility that we actually do hold inside of us to grow into our own authentic version of whatever flower we were always meant to be. This energy ultimately is trying to guide us back into our own authentic potential and to help us cultivate and nourish and grow that, especially also with the North Node in Taurus right now too. This is also a cycle that is being very divinely guided, because it is the cycle that is holding the position of the North Node, which is which is destiny. This is the point in the sky that represents fate, destiny, the hand of God, the path ahead, the next phase of growth, the lesson plan, and where we are being essentially divinely guided for our growth. And in the sign of Taurus, like, there's just so much emphasis going on the growth that is being represented over this cycle that is coming in this period of time. And this is our own internal growth. And this is also in terms of the things that we wish to grow and manifest in our lives to bring us a sense of true fulfillment, true heart-based alignment with what can bring us joy and pleasure and abundance. Venus, again, is in a conjunction with Jupiter for this new moon cycle, and this is Venus's new moon cycle. So this is some really tremendous spiritual and also heart-based growth that we have going on as well. But let's keep going. So we have so in terms of this growth theme that's playing out, this new moon in Taurus happening with Venus or with the moon and the sun at 11 Taurus, a woman sprinkling long rows of flowers. And then, as I have alluded to and mentioned a couple times so far, we also have Venus, ruler of this Taurus cycle. Whenever we are dealing with a planet that is in a sign, it's really important, or an aspect that's going on in a sign, it's important to pay attention to what is going on with the ruler of that sign, because that has a lot to do with how the energy in that sign is playing out, essentially. And so for this new moon in Taurus cycle, which is ruled by Venus, Venus herself is actually in an exact to the degree conjunction to Jupiter in Pisces, where she is exalted and where Jupiter is also a ruler of that sign. Venus and Jupiter in conjunction, you guys, this is one of the absolute best astrological alignments that there are. This is tremendous energy for relationships, for love, for money. It brings growth in relationships. It brings growth in money. It's really great for like celebrations and socializing and relating with other people. It can bring luck. It can bring abundance, divine inspiration, and creativity being in the sign of Pisces, just flowing like a waterfall in this energy, spiritual connection as well, intuition, and ability to truly like manifest the highest octaves of our dreams into reality. Ground Venus and Jupiter together in Pisces. This is making our greatest wishes and our greatest fantasies grow tangibly, physically, like from the earth, in this energy being the new moon in Taurus, an earth sign, about growing manifestation with Venus and Jupiter in alignment, which just gives us this like magical ability to channel our desires from the spiritual planes into the physical tangible reality. This is an insanely potent manifestation window cycle that we are in right now, and it really has a very strong ability to help us translate our dreams into reality. It's also bringing truth in relationships, in love, in money, in financial dynamics, and ultimately, again, in terms of the value that we hold inside of us and our own self-worth and our own inner resources and our own potential and our own self-love and the sense of self-empowerment that really gives us to become sort of like the masters of our own destiny in this energy as we are going through this process right now, which really this entire year is sort of like a collective hero's journey where humanity is facing experiences and learning lessons that are helping us to transcend our lower states of victimhood and experience into higher states of self-mastery and enlightenment and self-empowerment and ultimately co-creation with God and universe, and this ability to manifest and to bring our dreams and visions into reality and to align ourselves with these unlimited possibilities and this miracle potential and these divine alignments and these soul connections that this 222 year numerologically is also indicating universe is trying to bring to us. This is a really, and again, bringing it back to the numerology and how we started this report, I'm not surprised that we have these 11s and these 2s present in the numerological placements for this chart as well, because this new moon cycle is really a cycle where we are being given a gift, essentially. Jupiter is the Santa Claus planet, and Venus rules the heart, a gift that can really truly heal our heart and help us to release and let go of past perceptions, past beliefs about ourselves, and that were keeping us in any sense of state of lack of understanding or relating to the value and the worth that we truly hold inside of us, and bringing us back into the state of self-love, the state of recognition of the truth of our talents and our potentials, and again, the resources that we hold inside of us, and what that truly gives us in terms of our ability to tap those and to use those to create something beautiful for ourselves, Taurus, going forward in this energy. So amazing, actually, that Jupiter and Venus happen to be in, like, it's almost exact to the minute as well. Venus is at 27 degrees 55 minutes, and Jupiter is at 27 degrees 57 minutes at the moment of the new moon. So this is just like a powerful, expansive blast of like high heart, love, creative inspiration, truth energy that is really like integrating itself into the Taurus vibes and the Taurus new moon energy that we have going on, that is directly talking about a woman, Venus, sprinkling flowers, nurturing that growth, like cultivating that value so that this beauty can grow from it and come from it in one way or another, in one form or another. That's what we're doing. We're growing beauty this cycle. And the reason that we are able to do this, I feel, is because of this inward reflection that is simultaneously going on as well, in terms of the things that we've grown in the past and maybe what changes we need to make in order to ensure that what we grow going forward is truly in alignment with what we really desire, Venus, what we truly love, Venus, and what we ultimately know will lead to our heart's sense of true fulfillment. That, again, this 222 year numerology and also the age of Aquarius are trying to align us with and to bring into our lives. So I can't really say enough about the potential for manifesting and growing beauty. Like, this is even talking about specifically flowers for the position of the new moon. And flowers, again, like, flowers are all unique and they're all different, but they're all so beautiful in their own way. There's not one that is truly more beautiful than the other. It's just in the eye of the beholder and whatever your preference is. And I feel like, again, this is a reference to aligning with our own authenticity and not judging ourselves, but really embracing our own uniqueness and our own gifts and talents and abilities, and cultivating our own garden, watering our own soil so that we can grow into the flower that we were always meant to. This is a destiny activating new moon. Again, like I said, with the North Node also being present in the sign of Taurus for our new moon in Taurus. So all of that going on. And now let's talk about, Jupiter, again, like, we're on these growth things, and Jupiter is the planet ruling growth in the conjunction to Venus ruling this cycle. So there's another growth. So we've got the new moon itself, the fact that it's in Taurus, the Sabian symbol of the sun and the moon, the ruler of the cycle in a conjunction to Jupiter ruling growth. And then let's talk about actually the specific Sabian symbol placement of Venus, of Jupiter in their exact alignment for this new moon today. And that is so funny. That is 28 degrees of Pisces. The Sabian symbol is a fertile garden under the full moon reveals a variety of full-grown vegetables. So even this symbol, the placement of Venus today, specifically referencing something full grown, growing, growth, illumination, and a fertile garden. So, and this is the placement of Venus, again, in the conjunction to Jupiter for her cycle in Taurus, which is specifically about growth and growing things like from the ground up. And we're talking about a fertile garden, rediscovering the value within us, the fertile nature of what we can truly cultivate and produce when we're in authentic alignment with the truth of who we really are. Under the full moon, illuminated for us, really being able to see it reveals a variety of full-grown vegetables, reveals what we're truly capable of once we come to this revelation about the fertility that we truly hold within us, the value that that represents, the love and the open-hearted nature that we are aligning with in terms of ourself, and therefore, with others and the world around us as well, and how this shifts our life and helps us to attract, manifest, cultivate, grow what we really truly wish for and desire that can bring us that sense of true fulfillment moving into this age of Aquarius, this age of self-knowledge, this age of self-mastery, this age of self-empowerment and co-creation with God and universe. So all of that, like, there's just no way to hide from the overemphasis, like talking about Jupiter, overemphasis on these themes of growth. And it's funny because even before I looked at this chart, like, I do charts every day and I never have time to look in advance. I never really look at a chart until I sit down to write out the Sabian symbols and prepare to record the video. So these past few days, when I've been talking about how I felt like this Taurus new moon cycle was going to really be about seeding our dreams into reality and really be bringing some growth and some like divine alignments and activations and the hand of God sort of orchestrating things for us and bringing us to this restoration of value and stuff. I had no idea that these were the Sabian symbols and that these were the placements that were going to be present for this specific chart. So it is really like putting an exclamation point on all of these things that we've been talking about, that we've been discussing in their relation to our transcendence into the age of Aquarius right now. And these themes of cultivating and restoring and recognizing the value that we hold inside of us, developing our potential, developing our talents, really tapping into the resources within us and figuring out a tangible way that we can utilize those to create something for ourselves that can bring us some type of stability or some type of just enjoyment or pleasure or some type of ability to relate with others or some type of abundance or like material comforts or possessions or just any of that additional resources in any type of a way. That is what is being indicated. That is what we should be focusing on and using our energy for. Very strong manifestation window going on with this cycle. And again, I feel like because of the restoration of value, the recognition of this potential that's being emphasized, I feel like this cycle and also just this growth, this nurturing, this fertile soil, this nurturing and cultivating, I feel like this cycle is going to be changing some things for us, helping things to move in a direction that is really working to bring us back to life in one way or another. Now, there's some other things that we have going on aside from this, Jupiter and Venus in the chart, and that is that the new moon itself is actually occurring in a conjunction to Uranus. Now, this is not a super tight conjunction to Uranus. Uranus is at 15 degrees of Taurus. The new moon is at 11 degrees of Taurus. So we're at a 4-degree orb separation, but that is definitely, considering it's Uranus that we're talking about, that is definitely still very much an active conjunction. And when we're talking about Uranus and Taurus, I mean, Uranus is the great awakener. Uranus is also like the great rectification energy, the silver lining planet. Uranus brings blessings in disguise. Uranus is the fixer as well. And a lot of times when things are off course or where we are blind to our own like missteps, Uranus comes in and sort of throws everything up in the air, shakes it all up, and helps it settle back down in a way that is more in alignment with the true trajectory that we need to go in for our own awakening, for our own growth, and to help us come back more in alignment with our own authenticity. Uranus is also the ruler of Aquarius, ruling our energetic shift right now into the age of Aquarius, and also very much so aligns with truth, awakening, and authenticity. And with this new moon in Taurus happening in a conjunction to Uranus, this could also be bringing some very sudden, unexpected, sort of out of the blue or surprising realignments that happen over the course of this next cycle. And also awakenings as well. Things that could be happening that are actually working to free us in some type of a way from some type of perhaps like limiting circumstance or situation that was holding us back from aligning with our authentic truth or pursuing in a more authentic alignment, like in a future trajectory that we want to go towards in one way or another. This could also be bringing some financial or relationship or work related or partnership, like sudden changes that may be going on, and generally could just be causing like some shakeups in some type of a way over the course of this cycle. But one thing about Uranus, whenever Uranus is in a play, like Uranus puts things right. Whatever's going on with Uranus, whenever there's a Uranus aspect happening, a lot of times when it's happening, it feels terrible. It feels scary. It feels confusing. It feels out of control. It feels like, how am I going to survive this? What's going to happen next? But just the way the energy works, like it happens, it's putting things right somehow. And at the end of the day, in retrospect, looking back, it's always those moments, those Uranus aspects that we realize were the thing that like changed everything for us and put us on a trajectory to come into an experience that is so much more in alignment or brings us so much more happiness and fulfillment, or is just such a better experience than where we had been at before. It's the fixer. It comes in to take us out of situations that are not aligned with us, regardless of, how difficult that situation or that experience may be, and it puts us on track to something much better and something in much greater alignment with us. So that is an aspect of this energy that is playing out as well. We could definitely see some major shakeups going on. And again, in the sign of Taurus, this could have to do with resources, supply chains, finances, food, partnerships, work relationships, work dynamics, material pleasures, material comforts, projects that we're working on, things we're building, relationships as well, stuff like that. But with this Jupiter-Venus energy that we have going on now, Jupiter and Venus together, this brings like luck and abundance. It's great for finances, like great for money, great for love, really like relationships and stuff that are starting with this new moon energy have some really positive potential and some really divine support behind them. And also things that we're getting involved in financially at this point in time, because this is happening in Pisces and Neptune is still in proximity. We do want to be very careful and maybe not like jump head first into things right now, but the things that are developing slowly, gradually, and in a very synchronistic way at this period in time are definitely probably worth investing in, because with Jupiter and Venus together, this is like a beautiful sign for very positive growth in love and money coming throughout this cycle, or with things that are starting and being seeded right now. The woman sprinkling long rows of flowers. Also, we have Uranus right now at 15 degrees of Taurus. The Sabian symbol of that degree is a man with a rakish silk hat, muffled against the cold, braves a storm. So I even feel like this is saying that, whatever shakeups may come our way, whatever out of the ordinary, bizarre scenarios or unexpected happenings may occur, we're actually in a way like prepared for this. Like we're ready for it. Like we are muffled against it. Like it's not something that we are unequipped to handle at this point in time. It may take a little bit of braving, but we're going to make it through just fine, and we're going to end up somewhere much better as a result of that. And it's likely to actually be much, much better with Venus and Jupiter in a conjunction. Another aspect that we have going on for this new moon is we actually have Mars currently in Pisces, making almost an exact sextile to the placement of the new moon in Taurus. Mars in Pisces, the new moon in Taurus. Mars is at 12 Pisces, the new moon is 11 Taurus. So this is only 1 degree orb off. And so this is like the way that we are using our energy now is assisting in this growth, definitely. Assisting in this reflection, definitely. And Mars being at 12 degrees of Pisces for this moment of this new moon, that Sabian symbol is an examination of initiates in the sanctuary of an occult brotherhood. So I feel like this is sort of saying that even in terms of like our energy body and stuff, we are coming to the point where sort of graduating into this new frequency that has been Mars is in Pisces as well, that has been being activated through this Venus, Jupiter, Neptune conjunction and this recalibration of the heart energy that is necessary in order for us to make this energetic shift into the age of Aquarius. And I feel like this is sort of saying that the changes that are happening, the growth that is happening, the reflection that is going on throughout the course of this Taurus cycle is actually like initiating us in some way into this next phase of experience, this next phase of development as we are transitioning ages, as we are shifting our vibration, as we are going on this hero's journey, as we are coming into the truth of our potential and the truth of our power and these states of self-enlightenment and self-mastery, and recognizing, what that represents in terms of our ability to, again, sort of really take control over the experiences in our lives and begin this collaborative co-creation creative process with God and universe, which is an essential part of our shift of ages into the age of Aquarius as well. So the placement of Mars today also, I feel like, is talking about how all of this is playing in terms of our transition of ages right now, and the changes, the growth, the reflection that is occurring is happening to help initiate us into this new energy as we are going through this shift. Another thing that we have going on alongside of the new moon today, now this is not, directly related to the new moon itself, but because this is happening at the moment of the new moon, I feel like it's talking about something that will also probably be likely and present throughout the course of this cycle, and that is that we have Mercury, the messenger planet, moving into Gemini for the moment of the new moon. Now, Mercury rules Gemini. Mercury is just tiptoeing into Gemini, the very first degree of Gemini for the moment of our new moon. And Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, and therefore I believe that there will be lots of information coming throughout the course of this cycle. Lots of finding out a lot of things, lots of conversations, lots of information going back and forth, things happening very quickly. I feel like this is going to be a very fast-paced cycle. Like this new moon cycle is probably going to go by, or feel like it goes by, in like the blink of an eye. And it's just, there's going to be a lot of information. We're going to be learning a lot of things. And even the placement of Mercury at 1 degree of Gemini for this new moon, that Sabian symbol is a glass bottom boat, reveals undersea wonders and panoramas. So it's almost like whatever information is coming in, and also, with Venus in the conjunction to Jupiter, this is also bringing truth in terms of money, in terms of financial situations, in terms of relationships, and any illusions that we may have been operating under happening in the sign of Pisces. And then we have Mercury moving right into Gemini, talking about a glass bottom boat reveals undersea wonders. So again, this is sort of the same idea, the same concept, like really being able to see under the surface of things. And leading into this moon also, it's interesting because we had Mercury, this same planet, this messenger planet, forming a trine to Pluto, which is also doing the same thing, helping us to really see under the surface of things. So I feel like this whole new moon cycle probably going to go by very quickly. We're probably going to be learning a lot about a lot of things that we may have been sort of like in some type of an illusion or a delusion or confusion or a fantasy about, maybe in terms of our emotions or our emotional attachments and connections as well, with this water sign, Venus and Jupiter and Pisces, and this talking about the glass bottom boat revealing these undersea wonders, coming to some perhaps like emotional truths in some type of a way. But I definitely feel like we're going to be seeing what's been going on under the surface of things, a panoramic view, really seeing like the whole picture of it, and also talking about it, communicating about it, things going back and forth, a major emphasis on news, information, communication, interactions. Also, because of this emphasis with the North Node being activated, because we are in the North Node in Taurus, Venus, Jupiter cycle right now, there could, and these 11s as well, Gemini, Mercury, this sign also rules like pairs and couplings. There could definitely be, and with this Jupiter, Venus, there could be some relationships coming in this cycle, you guys. Romantic relationships, work relationships, friendships. This may be this cycle where these 2 year like divine alignment, soulmate, soul connections really start coming into fruition. And that would make sense because leading up to this new moon, which is a Taurus cycle, which is ruled by Venus, who is in the conjunction to Jupiter, bringing beautiful, growing beautiful relationships, we also had Venus, Neptune, and Jupiter in conjunction, which is recalibrating that heart center, showing us the truth in relationships and how we've been relating to other people, opening us up in terms of our heart frequency, and therefore changing what we're attracting, changing our vibration as a part of this general energetic shift that's going on in order so that we can make this transition of ages happen. So that does make sense. It's like leading up to this moon, we were going through this recalibration of our heart-based vibration, and now going into this new moon cycle as a result, we are probably now going to begin attracting and bringing in these connections, these relationships, these partnerships. Mercury also representing opportunities as well, that are very much so divinely aligned, that are happening in divine timing, and that really have potential for either monetary growth or success, or very profound like love relationship growth and success one way or another. Very highly indicated in this chart, especially with Mercury moving into Gemini for this activation today. The last thing that I want to talk about in this report, you guys, is actually the position of the nodes themselves. Now, the north node and the south node of the moon, the north node ruling, again, like I've said, destiny, the path ahead, fate, like the lesson plan, the phase of growth that we're in right now, what we're really being pulled towards because our soul is needing to learn these lessons in order to rise into the highest potential that we came here to manifest and express. The next phase in our lesson plan, the south node ruling the past, karma, the lessons that we've learned and what we really need to like release and move away from in order so that we can go through this new phase of growth, discovery, and rising into the truth of our potential. The north and the south node, as I've mentioned, being in the signs of Taurus, where the north node is, and therefore Scorpio, where the south node is right now, has a lot to do with us releasing any type of toxic attachments or toxic, like deep psychic complexes or subconscious programming from the past that has been keeping us out of the recognizing the truth of our own value and therefore surrendering our power and allowing ourselves to be like dominated and controlled or kept away from recognizing the truth of that value in one way or another. We are releasing a lot of toxic perceptions and mindsets and attitudes and beliefs and attachments of the past in this energy. And we are moving towards, with the north node in the sign of Taurus, learning to re-embrace that sense of inner value like I've been talking about, to find a sense of restored value, restored worth, inner potential, inner like resources within us that we can tap into to cultivate what we felt that we needed from others in the past because of the sense of lack that may have been operating within us in those regards that we are moving away from with the south node and Scorpio energy. And with the north node being the sign of Taurus right now, and we are having our Taurus new moon cycle, this is activating these lessons that the north and the south node represent. It's also because of the north node's association with fate and destiny. It's also likely to be bringing in some very divinely timed interactions, conversations, like meetings, encounters, and just situations, opportunities that are for the purpose of helping us to recognize that value and that growth, or to be able to express it and to utilize it, really step into it in some type of a way. Now, the position of the north and the south node right now, 23 degrees of Taurus and Scorpio, the Sabian symbols of those degrees, 23 degrees of Taurus, the position of the north node, this Sabian symbol is a jewelry shop filled with valuable gems. So this is specifically, again, referencing this value that we are being urged by universe to rediscover within us right now, and therefore the value that extrapolates to outwardly in terms of our ability to, tap into these resources and create a sense of abundance for ourselves, and to recognize the power that those resources within us, that those valuable gems within us truly represent. And the south node right now is a bunny metamorphosized into a fairy. This is talking about an energy that is going on through this process of release of the attachments from the past that is helping us to transcend our lower instincts, like our lower nature, and really metamorphosize into a much more self-empowered version of ourselves that is able to essentially tap into the magic of this reality and co-create with God and universe. There is also, obviously, with Jupiter, Neptune, and Venus in a conjunction in the sign of Pisces right now for this Venus new moon cycle, for this Taurus new moon cycle, a very huge emphasis on spiritual inspiration, divine connection, intuition, divine, just energy coming down and infusing everything that is really acting as a motivating force and a motivating factor behind a lot of the things that we are growing and that we are reflecting on and that we are manifesting and that we are transforming and metamorphosizing into in this energy. And that also is really helping us to restore this sense of value that we hold inside of us, and this value that in terms of the way that we are valuing this relationship that we have with the spiritual world and God and universe and the divine that is represented in this energy as well. And just therefore the changes that it's causing to the way that our heart frequency is working and moving into the cycle. Again, I do feel like this is a cycle where we're going to start really aligning with what is meant for us as we move forward throughout this year and into this new age. So all of that, you guys, Really beautiful, huge emphasis going on value, huge emphasis going on growth, like all over the place in a lot of ways. Huge emphasis also going on this reflection and this illumination and really being able to see things for what they really are and using that wisdom that we've gained to help us decide what we truly value, what we truly desire, and what we truly want to grow and to grow into moving forward in this cycle. And this cycle, again, I feel like is very foundational, as a Taurus cycle, you know, would imply throughout for like what is going to be coming next throughout the course of this year. It's just, you know, astrology always makes sense in a lot of ways, but I feel like this Taurus cycle is just like really hitting the nail on the head in terms of all of the Taurus themes being like way overemphasized to a point where it's almost like a little bit like funny, like caricature of Taurus energy that we have going on with this new moon in Taurus, but it's also very beautiful. It's also creating a foundation that is leading with this as the foundation to probably a lot of beautiful and positive experiences as we go throughout the course of the rest of this year as well. So that is what we have for our Taurus cycle going on. I'm not doing the tarot today because when I do the new moon and the full moon videos, they have a tendency of already running a little bit long, and I don't want to just go like on and on and on and on and on. We'll get back to the tarot again on Monday, you guys, but I am going to draw us a synchronicity card and just see if, oh, there's two actually that just came out that God wants us to know as we are going throughout the entirety of this Taurus cycle. And we got two messages. The first one says, don't abuse your body. Very good. That's another thing, you guys, with Jupiter and Venus in conjunction during a Taurus cycle. Taurus, like I said, ruling food. Venus and Jupiter ruling indulging in all the pleasures. We may have an urge to like really overdo it in terms of indulging in things over the course of this cycle. So this reminds me of something I should have said but didn't. Very, very good information. Let's read this card. It says, therefore glorify God in your body. Corinthians 6:20. It is wrong to abuse your body. It's one of the holy temples of God. Likewise, austerities, rigidities, and a stiffness have no value in spirit to you. Your body is the nest where God dwells, and you should make it a channel for vitality, wholeness, beauty, and perfection. Forgive yourself for the past and get on with a healthy and whole life. So yes, this very much reminds me that I meant to say we want to watch. That's like the one thing about this chart. We want to watch overdoing it, like overindulging in food, overindulging in drink, overindulging in like partying and good times, because that all very much could be sort of like feeling like that's something that, you know, could possibly happen in all of this energy. So that's the first card. The second one says you will be guided. The North Node, you guys, this faded energy going along with this cycle. Sent his angel to show the things which shortly must be done. Revelations 22:6. Shortly you will be shown the direction you should take. The way will open up for you to move forward. Seize the opportunity that comes to you. Know you are being divinely guided. Listen to the voice within the guidance. What was I just saying, you guys? I feel like this is the cycle where these divinely timed alignments, opportunities, relationships, connections are going to start manifesting, coming into fruition. And that is exactly what this card is saying. You will be guided. So that's what we have going on, you guys. Message from the stars, message from the synchronicity cards today. I hope that I was able to provide something for you guys in this report that can sort of give you a little like energetic roadmap in terms of what to expect as we are navigating this next few weeks of this Taurus cycle, which again should be like a really, really beautiful cycle. If you guys liked this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think they would be interested. Leave me comments, you guys. I absolutely love your comments. I love your feedback. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you for being here. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social media stuff. Those are in my description box below. And come back with me on Monday, you guys. We are starting a fresh week of astrology, fully into our new moon and Taurus cycle, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you then. Have a beautiful weekend, everybody. Wishing everybody a very, very wonderful new moon. Bye, guys.